Welcome, family, and thank you for joining me this evening here on the front porch at Sweet Bee's Honey House. This month, we have been invited to participate in a challenge by Jessica at Three Rivers Homestead. We are very excited about this challenge because it's something that we feel very strongly about. Both my husband and I work full-time jobs, but we try to still grow things in our garden, keep our animals taken care of, as well as preserve the things that we're producing here on the homestead. So this challenge is very important to us. It's the Every Bit Counts challenge. So through the month of August, we will be posting a video every single week showing you the different things that we are preserving every single day. So if you'd like to participate in the challenge as well and see what you can do every single day, because every little bit counts.
Okay, family, as usual, every good plan has an issue in it, and I started off the week by hurting myself. So we took it easy this first day, and we decided just to do some preservation of some apples that we had. So my family likes, we've tried apples in all different kinds of ways of preserving them, and one of our favorites is freeze-dried apples. So my husband had made a suggestion. He says, we really haven't had any in a while because we have run out since last season, and of the freeze-dried ones anyway. So we had these extra apples laying around, so we went ahead and we cut them up and got them ready for the freeze dryer. So we went ahead and just made it into small slices where it's easy to manage, because these things, trust me, they're addictive. And once you start, it's like Lay's potato chips. You should not be able to stop. So we went ahead and got these cut up and laid out. And as you'll notice later on in this video, you see the cinnamon shaker that I have there. We went ahead and added cinnamon to these yummy apple slices. We started off with a Honeycrisp apple, and we added the cinnamon, and it's just a nice treat. And that's one of the things I love about a freeze dryer, is because of the fact that we are not heating up the temperature of the product. You're getting as much of the nutrients as you possibly can. It's a real treat to have these in the house. Okay, so we filled up this first tray. We got ahead and filled up 4 more trays because my freeze dryer is 5 trays. And here we are installing those into the freeze dryer. Took less than 24 hours. And now we've got a yummy snack to add to our lunches for the rest of the week. Alright, on this day we decided to make some monkey butter. So this is one of our favorite jams to have around the house. Usually we don't do this until our banana trees are ready to harvest. However, we were blessed with some bananas, so we decided to go ahead and make some preserves instead of just putting those in the freezer for banana bread. So we went ahead and made some monkey butter. We start off with 5 bananas. This particular night I did do a double batch. However, we're going to just show you what we do with just an initial batch. So we start off with the 5 bananas, and we get those cut up, and we go ahead and add those to a stock pot so that we can start cooking them down. Okay, now that we've got them in the stock pot, we're just going to mash those up, and then we'll add the rest of our ingredients. We just want to get this started. We don't want it too chunky. I do like to have some texture to it. I don't want it pureed or anything. That's why I'm just mashing them. You can do this with a potato masher, or I just used the end of my immersion blender. I just took it off and just mashed it up. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add 20 ounces of crushed pineapple. Now we do a lot of we grow our own pineapples, and so we have preserved our own. So this is actually for us only 16 ounces. Then we're going to add a 1/2 cup of coconut flakes, and we'll go ahead and add that to the batch. Then we're going to add 2 cups of sugar. This is less than what the original recipe calls for. However, it's just too sweet the other way for our family, so I've just reduced it. and we've never had any problems with preserving it. I know that many have said that, canning and things is a science, and it is, but when we've tried it for so many years, we found that this kind of stuff works. So we went ahead and added 3 tablespoons of lemon juice to this mixture. That's going to help with the acidity. Even though it's pretty acidic with the pineapple and things, we went ahead and added that just to be on the safe side. And we just stir that around, and the next thing we're going to do after we get this mixed up is we're going to add it to the stove. So now that we've got it on the stove, we bring it up to a simmer, or we bring it up to a boil, reduce the heat just a little bit, and we're going to simmer that for about 15 minutes or so. And this is just going to help reduce some of the liquid in it and go ahead and get it thick enough for our preserves. We're going to add these to half-pint jars. I did both mixture of half pints and pints, and just going to leave 1 inch headspace in our jars. And we're going to make sure that we are debubbling our jars. There's still some air bubbles that can get in there, and as I said, it's going to be 1 inch headspace. I'm going to go ahead and wipe those rims, making sure that we get all the residue off of them, as well making sure that there's no imperfections in the top of that glass that could cause us problems with seals. So now we're going to add our 4 jars canning lid, and then we're going to add our ring and just make that fingertip tight. This evening we use the electric pressure canner and our electric canner, and we used it on the water bath setting for 15 minutes. And here's where we're pulling those out after 15 minutes, and they just look beautiful in the jars. This makes about a total of 3 pints. Now we are working the bananas again, trying to use up the rest of the bananas that we were blessed with. And so we're going ahead and just get those all cut up and put on the freeze-dry trays. As I said, we were blessed with quite a many of bananas. So we do love our bananas. We've tried them all different kinds of ways. We would much prefer them in the freeze dryer than we would any other way. When it comes to drying them out, we've tried dehydrating them, but this is our favorite. It's a nice little treat, a sweet, crunchy treat, which we do like that crunch, that texture. So this was a really nice treat for us as well, especially because we were running really low. We hadn't done this in a while, since last season when the bananas were ripe on the tree. So we're going to go ahead and get several trays put together. As I mentioned before, our freeze dryer will hold 5 trays, and so we've tried to make sure that we always maximize the space whenever we are freeze drying. Now, a lot of times I will flash freeze my fruit, but this evening we did not. We just put it in there fresh after cutting it. Okay, we finished out the tray here, and we're installing it into the freeze dryer next. Took less than 24 hours, and these are wonderful snack that we can add to our lunches or put in our oatmeal. Well, on this day we decided that we were going to water glass some eggs. So we went out to the chicken yard and we grabbed some fresh eggs. We didn't wash them. We just made sure that they were clean. They still have the bloom on them. And so I'm trying, it's hard, but I finally wound up getting a knife to help me with it. But I'm trying to place them in a certain direction. I'm trying to place them where the tip of the egg is facing downward. We've been water glassing for about 5 years now, and we do have some eggs that are that old, and we still eat the 5-year-old eggs. So we're really impressed with this way of doing it. We are going to try a new method this year. We're going to try oiling some eggs and seeing how that works. We hear wonderful things about it as well. So we're going to see and do some tests on that and see how well they do. So now that we get all of these placed in the jar, the next thing we do is we pull out our pickling lime. And it's that simple. 1/8 of a cup of pickling lime with a quart jar of water. We mix the solution together, And after we mix that solution, then we just pour it directly over the eggs. Now it looks really milky at first, but as it settles, you'll have the different pieces of settlement in there, but it's great just the same. Okay, so on this day we decided that we were going to go ahead and freeze dry some corn. And so what we do when we're freeze drying our corn is we go ahead and we cut the corn off the cob. We're going to go ahead and get these husks off of here, as well as removing the silks from the corn. We're going to get as many of those silks out as possible. And then we're not even going to blanch it. We're just going to cut it completely off of the cob, and we're going to freeze dry it in a raw form. And we really enjoy doing this. We add it to salads and things, so it's a really nice treat, especially when you bite into that sweet taste. Whenever you're eating a salad, it's just a nice little crunch. And I tried it several years ago and I was like, I can do this. So that's when we started freeze drying our own toppings for our salads. And so it's a very easy process, and it's a nice treat for your salad, especially during the summer. It's like a Mexican salad. It's so yummy. Now we're going to go ahead and just cut the kernels off of the cob. And this is an easy process with that little tool. We use it a lot when we're canning corn as well. So we're just going to easily pull or cut the kernels straight off that cob. We're going to save that cob. We're going to use it for either corn cob jelly, or we're going to add it to our stock pot when we're making our vegetable stock for the rest of the season. Now we're going to add this to our freeze drying trays, and we're just going to, I did it over at the hive, and then over at the honey house, and I brought it back to the main hive, and because that's where we got the freeze dryer right now. And so I just bagged it up. So we're just going to add that to our sheets, and then we're going to spread it out, and then we're going to add these trays to the freeze dryer. Alright, so here we are installing one of the trays into the freeze dryer. We'll go ahead and get the rest of those. Less than 24 hours, we have freeze dried corn. So we'll just add these to our salad. Now on this day we decided to make some pickled eggs. So we went ahead and boiled a few eggs. We went ahead and got these peeled up, and then we washed them off. And after we got them peeled up, we added them to this quart-sized jar with a wide mouth. I like using the wide mouth when I'm doing pickling, especially. We went ahead and, as I said, we washed those off next. And now we're just going to add those to the jar. And then we're going to get our ingredients ready and add that to the jar as well. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to dice up an onion. So we go ahead and get that taken care of and get that chopped up nicely. Next, we're going to add 1 can of Rotel. One of the things I wanted to do this year was to make my own Rotel so that I don't have to rely on this. But I had it in the cabinet, so we're going to go ahead and use this up. So we're going to go ahead and add that to our mixture as well. Okay, so next we're going to add 1 cup of V8 juice. This is homemade. We're going to add 2 cups of apple cider vinegar. We're going to get that all mixed up with 1 teaspoon of salt, and this is what it looks like in the jar. We're going to put it in the refrigerator and let it steep for about a week. Okay, on this day we decided that we needed another snack for our pantry, and as we've already finished putting up as many green beans as we're going to We've got enough that hopefully will last us this next year. So anything that we're bringing in, we're going to go ahead and get that washed up and use it in some other form or fashion, either as a fresh cooked meal, or on this day we decided that we would make it into a snack. So we're going to go ahead and clip the ends off of all of these green beans, and then we're going to go ahead and start cutting these green beans up in bite-sized pieces. So we're going to go ahead and get those cut up. They've been washed before we ever started cutting on them. So we're just going to add those to a gallon-sized bag, and we're going to add some seasonings to those. Just douse them in that, and with the combination of the water, it should make the seasoning stick. So here's just a salt, pepper, and garlic mixture that we enjoy, and then we put some yummy Mexican oregano on there. We went ahead and got those shaken up in a bag, and then we went ahead and laid those out on a freeze dryer tray. And each one of those trays, we went ahead and put it into a single layer so that it could dry easier in the freeze dryer. And then we went ahead and put that in the freeze dryer, and within 24 hours we had us a yummy snack for our lunches. Thank you, family, for joining us this week. We have thoroughly enjoyed doing preservation projects with you every single day. We don't have a lot to show for our efforts right now because we did have a cleanup project this weekend. So we enjoyed sharing our goodies with all of our family and friends that were helping us with the project. But we did thoroughly enjoy participating in the challenge, and we thank Jessica from Three Rivers for promoting this and or coordinating this. We appreciate you, and we thank you so much for inviting us to participate in the challenge, because every bit counts. Join us next week.